Oh, I found a string key. Let's see if this one works. Is it on?
The race to stream.
No, it's not.
I don't know if anyone's actually watching it.
We are live.
Okay, then that's the one.
Hooray!
Hey!
GameGrin started streaming Helldivers.
That's because Twitch does not have a podcast category.
Helldivers.
Mixer does.
Yeah.
Does it not? It's got like gaming shows or something, hasn't it?
Yeah, doesn't it have a talk show setting or something like that?
Try either of those.
Does it have a swear show setting?
Talk shows, there we go.
I'll be eating. Be right back.
We make the podcast half an hour later so he can stuff his face, and he's still eating at 9 o'clock.
I know, you think you give you extra ample
And
time.
it's not even 9 o'clock where oh wait.
No, he's in London.
Ugh.
When did London move to a different time zone?
like last week when, yeah.
Once you go in through the M25, it's like a different dimension.
Yeah.
You went to London time.
All kinds of like time wibbly wobbly stuff.
I mean, I suppose technically when you get on the M25, time stops, or at least traffic does.
Whee. Ugh, right, let's kick off before Dynalite makes any more jokes.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
We'll not start it. There we are.
At least they're family friendly for a change.
It's Thursday, the 9th of November, and you're listening to the Game GrinCast, the Streamcast edition. Yay! We've got absolutely packed podcast full of people and news and all sorts, and also hopefully people watching on stream. We'll have people keep an eye on the stream chat, so if people want to get in touch with us, write in the stream chat and we'll try to answer your questions / defend ourselves when you inevitably abuse us. Joining me in the streamcast today are Ace.
Hello.
Cal.
Good evening.
Cello is eating.
I'm not. Ciao.
Dominoid.
Hello, viewers and listeners.
MZ.
That's me.
And Puce.
Hello.
Lots of people, and because of that, we're going to have to jump straight into the first section of the podcast, which will be what people have been playing this week. I usually start at the bottom to give Ace a rest, but this time I'm going to start at the top and ask Ace what he's been playing. Anything good, anything bad, anything in between?
I've had a go at My Time at Portia. It's Portia. I don't know. It's a game that's been in Kickstarter. Going to be published by Team 17. It's kind of a Harvest Moon RPG style game. You're bequeathed a workshop and have to build it up and become a master builder and that sort of thing. And you can get married and play rock, paper, scissors against everyone in town.
You can get married and play rock, paper, scissors.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's in it's only an alpha version I've got, and I've only played about half an hour of it. But yeah, it's pretty fun. And the other game I've played this week is Sonic Forces. Less than 4.5 hours and I finished it. They really want you to think that your knockoff Sonic character is the best thing ever.
I was going to say, what kind of fan fiction Sonic characters do you make?
There were no foxes available, so I made a bird, and it was purple, wearing purple, because it's such a represent. Yeah, all the characters are always, oh, you're doing great, buddy. Oh, you're the best rookie. Oh, there's a rookie on this mission.
So it leads you to a false sense of security.
And Sonic's you become best friends with Sonic. The gameplay's pretty good, except for the the 2D Sonic levels because. Sorry, just a second.
And Ace died. Rip. Press F to pay respect.
He couldn't continue living himself after talking about Sonic Forces.
You reach the peak amount you can talk about it before you must end it all.
Sorry, Amazon delivered. Yes, it is 7 past 9 at night.
How about that service?
That is good service.
I forgot what I was saying. All the 2D Sonic levels, because you meet up with the 2D Sonic that you met in Sonic Generations for reasons that are never explained. And his levels are absolutely awful. Because all you've got is you can jump and spin dash, kind of. And after you've used the 3D Sonic and your avatar, that's what they call your player character. It's really weird and really off-putting to be rammed into another level where you have to jump.
I've heard it's quite a lot slower than Sonic Generations as well.
Yeah, I think with Sonic Generations, that was more fun and fast-paced because they were familiar levels, like they were levels taken from other games. With this, since they're...
I thought you said they were lovers taken from other games.
No, different game, different fanfiction. No, these are mostly brand new levels. They've taken cues from others, like this Chemical Plant Zone, which is pretty much a take on the Chemical Plant Zone from Sonic 2. I think with the 2D levels, they saw that part of Sega was working on Sonic Mania and thought, hey, we should implement some of those ideas. And they just did it awfully.
It's a very good talent, and I know they're different teams worked on different games, but to go from something as not revolutionary, but revolutionary in terms of making a good Sonic game, and then come back with a load of crap again is, I mean, maybe it's not as bad as some parts of crap they've released, but still to go from quite a high to such a low is a no mean feat.
The game itself is pretty good. It's just the story's not amazing. I have no idea what happens to Eggman at the end because he just disappears.
To fight another day.
I don't know why.
To fry another day.
Haha. I don't know why the 2D Sonic turned up. I don't know why he left. That's hand-waved.
His planet needed him.
To be fair though, do Sonic games need a story? The 2D ones didn't really have a proper story.
Save the furry animals.
That's true, but I'd like some closure to the story that was there. I'm 90% sure that I did not defeat Infinite. Because he kind of flew off after I defeated him the last time.
Gotta wait for that sweet DLC.
Right, I'll let
Sonic Forces
someone else
Season
carry on
Pass.
now.
If anyone wants to catch Ace's opinion on the Sonic Forces, check out the new Sonic Forces podcast. Just Ace talking about Sonic Forces for an hour.
And half an hour of that is just Ace going,
Why?
So Cal, I know you're a businessman, a salaryman these days, but what have you managed to squeeze in between your workaday life?
Not a lot, to be honest with you, because I've been away for the past few days. So I took advantage to play some mobile games instead, and very nicely, Monument Valley 2 was released recently, so I've been playing that. I love the first one. The design of it, the aesthetics of the style. You know, I don't know if you played Monument Valley. It's one of them puzzle games that's based off the old. I can't remember the bloody called now. The sort of optical illusions. So you've got structures and buildings that are sort of impossible, like that old painting of the staircases where it's like staircases going everywhere.
Escherism is the term, I believe.
Ah, there you are then.
The Escher, the artist who did those.
So the second one is just a delightful playthrough. So that made my flight home when I was in Barcelona over the weekend quite nicely.
Is it
Barcelona?
Yeah, that's in Barcelona.
Is it like the first one where it is just a proper traditional puzzle game, i.e. it's not one of those like Candy Crush and every other puzzle game where you have to complete it by buying microtransactions? You just pay for the title at a premium price and you play it from start to end.
Yep, it's $4.99 on the Play Store. I used a bit of my Google Play discount to get it for about £3. But yeah, it's straight up. You buy it. There's no in-app purchases. There's none of this bollocks. There's the option to like use Facebook or Twitter within it, but it's like no, just relax, enjoy the game, wear your headphones, and just enjoy it. So if you haven't played the first one, definitely recommend getting the first one. When I did get back home and actually relax and jump on the PC, I continued my wonderful adventure of killing Nazis in Wolfenstein 2, which is amazing so far. But I haven't played it enough but like, this is brilliant. Like say, compared to Doom, for example, it's just such an enjoyable, and it's very grounded in the story. So although it is Wolfenstein and it's ridiculous with the crazy Nazism and all that stuff, but it is a bit grounded with the social and the political elements within it. It's like, yeah, this is really, really good.
Sweet. Let's move on to our resident Italian. What have you been playing, Cello?
Helldivers. Move on.
Cello can't come to the phone right now. If you'd like to leave a message after the tone, he'll get back to you. Oh, he's here.
Sorry, the microphone was muted and I lowered it and didn't unmute, so I had to restart the headset. I've been playing Dynalite lately. A friend of mine recently got the game and stuff. And although I already played the game 4 times, we replayed the whole main campaign and just started the DLC. And it's a very good game. It's not a great game. It's not a 10. It's far from that. I would say it's an 8 or something. But for some reason, I just keep going back to it and playing it every time someone asks me to. It's pretty weird. But it's
you playing in co-op?
Yeah, playing co-op.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun in co-op, that game, I found.
Yeah, and it's it's a good thing because she just started playing the game, so we actually played the whole campaign, all the missions and all the stuff, finding everything again and the world changing, and so you actually get a whole proper experience. It's not just mindless killing. So yeah, and I just went back to it, so I've been playing that, mainly playing that this week.
Brilliant. Dominoid?
I have also been killing Nazis in Wolfenstein.
But not in Wolfenstein.
I went to America. They've got loads of them there now.
Ooh, satire.
No, I agree with Calvin. It's a very, very good game. It doesn't necessarily have that same kind of massive impact that the Doom reboot had, but it's really nice. It's what I like. They've got a lot of little flavour touches throughout the game, so it kind of it's not just go here, meet the objective, go back to your base. There is lots of little side things you can do as side missions, even just sort of down to really little things. Like this mission when in the early days when you're in the early part of the game where you're on the ship and one of the crew members has a pet pig, and there's a little side mission to feed his pig, and you have to find some potatoes and give it to the pig, and it does nothing in terms of gameplay. It doesn't change anything. There's no achievements or anything. It's just kind of a nice little side quest that makes the world feel more alive, and I like that in a game. It's just that sort of attention to detail. And in stark contrast of attention to detail, I've been playing Bubsy the Woolly's Return, which is it's not a bad game. It's okay. It's a decent platformer. But you remember how everyone's favourite bit in Bubsy 3D was where they gave him a voice and he came out with loads of awful one-liners?
Yes.
Yeah, they brought that back.
Hooray!
No, no, platform game characters should not have voices, especially ones that are supposed to have attitude. It's a bad choice. It's a solid enough, decent platformer, but
is it the same voice kind of style as the previous Bubsy in 3D and the Mega Drive games? Or
yeah, I don't think it's. I don't think it's got like.
Or it's like a weird bastardized version of Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, it's that same sort of like irritating cartoon character. Mega Drive ones didn't have voices, did they?
I was about to ask Alex which voice actor worked on the Mega Drive games.
I wouldn't be able to say the voice actor, but at the beginning of every level in Bubsy 2, there would be a short little sentence spoken by Bubsy introducing the level. I played too much Bubsy when I was younger.
I might need to replay those. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So that would have been a big thing at the time. Sampled speech in the 16-bit days was like a really impressive feat.
It was definitely there. I would stake my life upon it.
I don't doubt you. I believe you. I trust you. You're an honest man. But yeah, I honestly don't remember it. I have to play the first two again then before I finish my review of it then.
To be fair, the first two of them are infuriating games.
Yeah, but everything was in those days, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's. I just love the fact that you can take falling damage in the original Busby games. It's just like a platformer where you take falling damage.
Yeah, in a platform game. Fortunately, they haven't brought that back for the latest one.
In Sonic Forces, you can fall about 2 miles and still have kneecaps.
That's because you're a rookie.
To be fair, you can in real life you can fall over massive distances and not injure yourself. It's landing that'll fuck you up.
MZ?
Yeah.
Put down the gin and tell us what you've been playing this week.
It's embarrassing.
Is it gin 4 chapters?
No.
Is it Barbie's Horse Adventures?
I wish. No, I've been playing a lot of Two Dots and Be Brilliant with Jacob.
I like Two Dots. It's a very relaxing game.
Yeah, it's been really interesting for Jacob because I don't know if many of you know that Two Dots obviously is a mobile game, and you kind of just the premise is you join two dots together and you have different goals to complete. And I've been doing that with Jacob. It's great for kind of logic skills, and Be Brilliant is kind of just a bog standard click and destroy blocks type game. But
see, the main character is called Emily, just like you.
What?
Apparently, I just looked up Two Dots and it says meet Emily and Jack.
That's creepy because there are no characters in Two Dots, but also that's eerily close to my name and my son's name.
You're in the Matrix.
There are no characters in Two Dots. It's just like a puzzle game.
That's weird. I was looking at the iTunes thingy on it, and
I think there are like 2 mascots that appear at times, from my memory.
There's a guy with a giant beard.
They hang around at the start.
Oh my god! I did not even know that. That's so scary. Well, I'm no longer playing Two Dots. Thanks, Dominoid.
Sorry, I'll get me.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing, mobile games. I do have Divinity Original Sin 2, which I have not had a chance to play yet. I'm sorry, Alex.
Oh, it's awful.
You lie.
I do.
It is very, 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 very good. On that note, I've been playing all sorts of things this week. The absolute benefits of suddenly owning 3 different consoles and is over lately. So I've been
me.
yeah, disposable income, huzzah. I playing Mario Odyssey on my lunch breaks at work. Fantastic game, still incredible. Still can't recommend enough the ability of the Switch to just take it with you and play it somewhere. I mean, I can't wait to use it when I go abroad for like conferences and things, and just take it with me and play it in the hotel room. And It's just so portable and brilliant.
I
On top
love
of that,
the change in your attitude the
know.
moment you bought a Switch.
Yeah.
Nintendo is shit. Everything they do is for kids. I hate
No.
Nintendo.
Nintendo is still a
you're-
terrible
Oh my
company.
God, Nintendo are the best thing ever.
Super Mario Odyssey. That's the whole reason I want to get a Switch, and I'm getting one for Jacob, in quotation marks, myself, for Christmas.
Nintendo is still an awful company in terms of their business decisions, but the Switch is a very well designed console. I've really admitted it in the last 2 podcasts that I was wrong. I think a few people when it was announced were like, "Oh, I'm not too sure about that," but it's definitely. I mean, a lot of things could have gone wrong, but I don't think any one of them has. On top of that, playing a little bit of, a little bit of FIFA on my PS4, but also the latest season of Overwatch started, so I've been being really bad at competitive Overwatch. That's really about it for me. A bit of Rome Total War as well, because there's a new update coming out in the end of the month, and also for a little bit of background research, because I'm writing a story about the Roman Empire, so it's nice to get a little bit of immersion therapy in a game that's not entirely authentic. Well, it's going to be, God knows when it'll ever be finished. That's about it for me this week. What about you, Puce?
I've been playing a couple of things. Been catching up on stuff really. I played the final episode of Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale series, which was an exceptionally good last episode. All in all, that series has been really good, actually, compared to the quality of some of the ones that they've done recently, like the Batman and the Batman one.
Fully agree.
Other than that, I finally got round to looking at Agents of Mayhem, which I've been quite enjoying. It's gameplay is quite simplistic, but it's a really enjoyable time whilst you're playing it, as long as you don't expect anything too in-depth or anything. It's a really fun game to just lose yourself in for an hour or so. And I also started Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I've been really enjoying. It seems a lot better tonally than the first game in the remastered series. So that's a good time. I'm enjoying that. But other than that, I've not really done a great deal. Apart from the odd round of PUBG and Fortnite Battle Royale as well, here and there. But no, nothing. I've not really put a lot of time into anything in particular this week.
Well, fantastic. Everyone's been playing a great mix of games, but we have quite a substantial amount of news to kick off with. So we'll start with BlizzCon, which happened last week and over the weekend, which was I always think it's crazy that it shows how big a company Blizzard is, that it can just have its own multi-day conference with all in these massive centers. But lots of things happened there. We had a lot of releases about Overwatch. New season, new character. The Overwatch World Cup was there. South Korea won. The UK was predictably disappointing, despite being favoured as dark horses. They didn't do very well at all. In fact, one of the UK team, a guy called Christopher, was interviewed on the Game Green website, so search that out. It's part of our MCM gaming coverage from a year ago, maybe a year and a bit ago. Other big announcements, and a pretty huge one actually, is that StarCraft 2 has gone free to play, or at least parts of it have gone free to play. Bits of the single player, some areas of the versus mode, the unranked and versus AI mode, and some of the commanders are free up to level 5 as well. So they're trying to get in on that Dota 2 League of Legends kind of model, and also in a rather ironic twist, one of the big memes from Blizzard when that guy asked whether they could have classic servers, and they said, "We're not going to do it," and "You don't want us to do it." They announced that they are in fact going to do classic server options, World of Warcraft. We'll start off talking about StarCraft, and then I know MZ wants to talk about World of Warcraft Classic. But has anyone got anything to say about StarCraft 2 going free to play? Is anyone going to give it a go now it's free?
Yep.
Yeah, it's been years since I played StarCraft, so yeah, maybe.
Yeah, one of the nice things with the announcement was the fact that if you already own StarCraft 2, they gave you Heart of the Swarm instead. That's a freebie for those that already own StarCraft 2, so that was nice. But Yeah,
It's
it'd
good
be
that
interesting to see what the pickup is after this, see how many people jump to it, because it's already a really popular game, so it'd be interesting to see how it affects the numbers.
Yeah, it's also, I think, well, when I read into it, when I saw it, it said you can have access to the first campaigns of the expansions, and then you can purchase them at a discount price. Or you can buy them individually, or you can buy them as a bundle if you wanted to.
Yes, they're definitely going the piecemeal approach, try and tease people into, and then give them multiple options to get the rest.
I think more older games, like especially big popular games like StarCraft 2 and whatever it may be, they should, like, if it's like 10 years old, maybe 5 years old or so, they should, like, yeah, have the base game for free, and then if there's any expansions or any additional shit, you know, discount price of 10 quid.
And this is
That
why
would
you're not in
replace the
charge
kind
of
of-
EA.
Yeah, that would
Yes.
replace the missing demo market, wouldn't it? That
It would.
we haven't had for years. That's a good idea.
Then again, EA is already doing it with their fucking Origin access, so it is kind of there in some form.
Okay, we'll open the way for MC to talk about World of Warcraft Classic then.
Hello. Yeah, I mean, you made the comment about, oh yeah, it was funny because somebody asked for classic servers and they were like, no, and then they did it anyway. But, I mean, people have been asking for classic servers, well, not even classic servers, just vanilla World of Warcraft for years. Ever since Burning Crusade came out, people have wanted to play vanilla. So, I mean, to be honest, people have been creating servers to do that privately and illegally for years and years and years. And honestly, it's just a sensible business decision to make money out of it. You know, you set up vanilla classic servers for people to be able to go back in time with the overhauled graphics, to be able to kind of reminisce about everything that they remember. It'll probably bring back a number of people that have left because they missed vanilla servers and they want to play vanilla because it was the best. Personally, I'm not exactly fussed. Yeah, I will definitely log on to a vanilla server because the way they're doing it is they've got you obviously you've got PvP servers, you've got RP servers, and PvE servers, and they're literally just releasing classic servers and all the other servers, so you can just log on, make a character, and play, and then switch between. It's not like you have to pay anything extra, and it's really quick and easy and simple to do. So I imagine lots of people will try that. And to be honest, I think it's just something that will probably entice a lot of people back to try it, at least, even if they just make a quick buck for a couple of months with people coming back, resubbing for a little while. And you know, I think it just adds some additional excitement. I know a lot of people that have been playing Legion, myself included, have been a little bit jaded with regards to kind of content because it's getting a bit dull. We've got a new patch coming out and we've got a new expansion coming out, but the expansion doesn't come out until summer next year. So if anything, it's something that will fill the void, give people something to do. And that's really my opinion. It's a clever business decision to stop people having, well, it won't even stop people having illegal servers, so those people will do it anyway. But people that would pay if they could will still be doing that. And it's interesting. If I had quit playing, it wouldn't be a reason for me to come back. But I think it's a sensible idea for them to do, and I'm interested to see how many people take it up.
Just for those of us who just for those of us who maybe are complete unicorns in the world of gaming and have never actually played World of Warcraft, what's the difference between vanilla World of Warcraft and World of Warcraft as it is now?
Okay, so since
That rather straightforward.
What?
I was just going to say, like, in that rather straightforward explanation, like, it's the base game what came out in 2005.
Sort of. So it's been 13 years since the release. So it's their 13th anniversary next week. And when World of Warcraft was originally it came out, you had World of Warcraft, and then they started releasing expansions which expanded on the world of Warcraft. And since then, we've had lots of things have happened. Obviously, level cap has raised, especially in Cataclysm, the expansion pack. There was a lot of changes that happened to Azeroth, which is the world that World of Warcraft is set in. So that was all completely changed, overhauled. A lot of things changed when that expansion came out. So this gives people a chance to go back to, and there are, plot-wise, there are characters that have died in expansion packs that don't exist. And I think it's, for people that maybe haven't played from the beginning, people that have picked up kind of, Wrath of the Lich King further on forward, it gives them a chance to go back and see characters experience a story that, they might not have known. So it's essentially, it's like time traveling back 13 years and experiencing the story and the world as it was when it was first released, but with the graphics that they have now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the interesting things is the fact that a lot of the mechanics have changed quite a lot over time. It's like if you go back to vanilla, it's like if you played a hunter back in vanilla, if you played it now, it's almost unintelligible. It's totally different. They've removed so many mechanics that were in the original game, such as actually having to have ammunition for your weapons.
And we don't know how much they are going to change.
Yeah, this is the thing. It'll be interesting to see if it's a true recreation of vanilla. It'll be really fascinating, just as a historical thing, because
there were a lot of problems with vanilla WoW, but there were things that people really liked about that. You couldn't get a mount until level 40. A lot of us did jumping puzzles to try and get to places that weren't actually mapped out. So, it's interesting to see whether they're going to bring it back completely as it was. I don't know. I think world-wise, it's going to be more advanced than it was. Spells-wise, I'm really interested to see kind of move sets, what that's going to be like, whether they're going to take it back completely. Because they updated for a reason. They've had patches for a reason to change things. And moving forward as well, if you have essentially a completely different timeline on these servers, are they going to patch those servers separately to the other servers? That's another interesting question.
Yeah, it's like, are they going to start... if you like, at the exact launch style of vanilla, and then slowly add patches until we get to Ajal Narub, which was the final raid of vanilla. Are they actually going to do updates like that, or is it going to be in a fully formed final state? It is an interesting thing. It'll be interesting to see how in depth they go and how far back they take it.
People are going to jump at the chance to play AQ40 again.
Yes, definitely.
Is this going to be free? Or have they said it's going to be free? So it's totally free to. That's good.
You're still going to have to. It's not a separate game. It's literally just a different server that you click on. So it's for people that are subscribed to World of Warcraft that will then have the option to play on what is called a classic server. So it's just another type of server.
I remember there was a group of the guys who already did this, and they got taken down by Blizzard.
Not just one group of guys. Loads of people have been doing this for years. Yeah.
It's been going on. So are they going to be, as Blizzard turned around and said, okay, we're going to bring you guys in to work with this, or it's just like, fuck off, we'll do it ourselves?
Well, the guys from the Nostalria server, they're the ones that you're thinking of, I think. They're the ones that went up to Blizzard for a meeting last year, and then they've said, I think J.R. Brack in an interview said that they were still having ongoing talks with a couple of the guys from there. But how involved they are, we still don't really know. But they have said that they would like their involvement, whatever that means. So.
But I don't think that's something that will necessarily ever be created.
No, exactly. And that's the other interesting thing as well, comparing it to private servers, is because a lot of private servers ran off the same code base, and they were all based, a lot of it was guesswork, and a lot of it was kind of mimicking what it was like, but not really. So this being an officially sanctioned thing will be nice for a lot of people, especially if they'd never got to play vanilla at the time, because you actually get to see it as it was, hopefully, depending on, as we say, depending on how they actually go about this.
Oh, I get it. So I don't see an issue. If they bring the two lead guys who have been behind the third-party model servers what they've been developing, surely it'd be like, tell you what, guys, we're going to back you. You've got a job at Blizzard. Work along the team, and we can focus on doing our own shit.
In here, this time, we've actually got the resources and the original databases for you to look up how things actually did work. That might be what they're doing. They might actually be forming another team with those, but that's all we don't really know.
Isn't Blizzard owned by Activision?
No, they're not.
No.
It's a partnered, yeah.
Because Blizzard owns a shitload of money, and Activision owns a shitload of money. Activision can't afford Blizzard, so they thought, well, do you want to both make money? Yeah, sure. We'll partner up. And that's how it went. That's why they're called Blizzard Activision.
Okay, fair enough.
Or is it Activision Blizzard or Blizzard Activision? It's one of the actual company, full company name is that.
It's Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard, yeah.
Yeah,
that's alphabetical.
Yeah, the other interesting thing about that is it'll be interesting to see how many of these people that say they wanted vanilla servers are actually, when they've actually got them, will say, actually, no, you know what, I'm glad we've moved on, and it's all rose-tinted glasses.
None of them, because the people that have been demanding vanilla servers for ages are pompous assholes, and they're never going to admit they're wrong.
This is true, yeah.
Well, I'm down that one, I think.
Kind of makes me wish that EA would do it with Knights of the Republic, the online one. It's like, just make it, just make it single player. Just make Knights of the Republic free.
We'll have something to talk about later on in the podcast then. But first we're going to talk about Niantic and its new idea for an AR. Fine, swallow it. Their new idea for alternative reality game, which, yes, will be called Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
Harry Potter Go!
Oh dear.
It's going to be out. They're going to get more details out next year. Big news is that it's going to be making use of augmented reality features by Apple and Google via the AR Kit and AR Core developer tools. So basically it's going to be using AR tools that weren't available during the development of Pokemon Go. Players will be able to learn spells and then go out and fight in, I quote, legendary monsters out in their neighborhoods. Will this be another one that, everyone plays for about 2-3 weeks and then disappears? But knowing what Harry Potter fans are like, it's going to be another license to print money, essentially.
Well, considering that, there's still piles of people being idiotic and happily and giddily taking photos at platform 9 3/4, there's still going to be a shitload of people who will be wanting, I'm a wizard on my phone, swipe.
Yeah. Isn't there a Harry Potter world in America?
You know the spell.
Come on, I think it'd be weird if any one of us hadn't read Harry Potter books.
I haven't read them. I had Stephen Fry read them to me.
I did as well when I was a kid. It was always it's like end of side A, because it was on a cassette tape. So you had to swap it over.
Losers.
Okay, so yeah, it's going to be more. Hopefully, it won't have a Pokemon Go didn't have a bad launch, but it was feature poor, really. So hopefully it won't be as featureless as Pokemon Go was when it came out.
They removed features.
They removed the only good features.
Every time I think about Pokemon Go these days, I just think back to that event they did. That massive cavern.
That failed.
Yeah, and it's like, we can't play. And they're all
everyone that played has crammed into a field. Why isn't it working?
Yeah.
We haven't got enough bandwidth.
Get 3,000, 4,000 people all using their mobile data. Why isn't it working?
I feel sorry for the hosts of that thing because they were trying to let's look at the scores. And it's like, oh my god, Zapdos is the next legendary. Oh, and everyone's like, we can't fucking play. So good. I love that super
I don't know if J.K. Rowling has tweeted about it, but I don't care. Unlike every
She
major
just-
publication.
She tweets enough.
Well, if she
didn't
had,
give a
surely
shit.
every paper would have made an article about it.
Oh yeah,
So,
they would have said it was her idea, and like the Pokemon
J.K.
Go
Rowling
team.
destroys makers of new Harry Potter game in single tweet.
I'm pretty sure she had to sign on for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just like Warner Brothers going up to her and say she's probably got like a little stamp with her signature because Warner Brothers is like, we're going to give you more money to license Harry Potter, and she's just like, yeah.
I want to introduce everyone to, because BBC in their high wisdom decided they wanted to activate the Have Your Say comment section for the Harry Potter story.
Oh my god.
So we have here the general people saying, what an excellent Have Your Say subject matter, because it's been so quiet on the news front lately. What a horrible idea. I can't believe they're still trying to milk this rubbish. What else we got? Will it allow me to step into a world with no Leave voters or bigots? Says one person.
That's typical
If only.
British.
Oh, here's a great one. It says, what about an option that takes down powerful enemy Marxists in the BBC News and Current Affairs team? That would be nice. Then there's one at the bottom talking about how there's a god of art in Tajikistan, and that they will be loving it. But oh god, I can't even make any sense out of this. It says the Tajikistan Leaders Museum designers would be loving it, but anyone not raised on the Brutalism Is Us Concrete Arts Network may Blanche Dubois with the mega migraine that follows.
BBC comments are as intelligible as any of them.
This is why you should never read below the line.
Yeah, even on the BBC.
Especially on the BBC.
You know what's going to happen when this comes out? You're guaranteed that with just like Pokemon Go, you have the different
hot takes.
Well, you have the different what they're bloody called the teams. You're going to have the schoolhouses again, Slytherin, and Gryffindor, and all that bollocks, and then you're going to see a
It's
shitload
not
of
bollocks.
Right. You're going to see all the merchandise again, and then it's going to have one of them little areas where a Holocaust museum is going to be a Gryffindor house or some sort, and you have to go there to collect it.
I don't think it'll be that bad, surely.
Well, it happened with Pokemon Go.
We're gonna end up with a flurry of hot takes and comment sections across. Someone's gonna get mugged or something. People are gonna get their phones taken, and it's gonna be like, oh, bloody kids and millennials looking at their phones, and then other people going,
fucking idiots live.
and then the
streaming
millennials
as well.
rail against the other people, and then it becomes a whole big thing, and then it dies away, and then life's endless monotony trudges on.
It's probably gonna be a
And then
great
now-
way to meet chicks.
Well,
Yeah,
I didn't
really.
realise that
Chicks.
you were a fan of the feathered variety.
Of the what?
of baby birds.
Baby birds, yeah.
I didn't know that the avians were a popular segment of alternative reality video games.
Sorry, I grew
Well,
up
they're
in America.
Hufflepuff.
Yeah, a lot of girls of my generation really like Harry Potter, like really like Harry Potter. So it's like half a dozen of my girlfriends really were like crazy about that series.
And do you think that they're going to take their eyes off the screen long enough to see what you even look like?
Oh yeah, definitely. I walk by,
No.
people notice. But yeah, anyway, it's just something you have to keep in mind.
God.
The turn to face cello, and it's just a Dementor or something.
That Italian guy is following me. Quick, run. He's like a Dementor.
Someone you're
I'm
portraying this
Gryffindor,
quickly.
bitch.
Everyone who has to say they're a Gryffindor isn't a Gryffindor.
Yeah, of course I am. I have.
You're
It's on my
so
Twitter.
Hufflepuff.
That's the rule,
Gryffindor
isn't
is
it?
the worst house anyway.
You're just jealous because we have a lion.
See,
Yeah,
I've never read a Harry Potter book or watched one of the films, so I have no idea what any of you are talking about. This is like
You
another
are
language to me.
100%
You
Hufflepuff.
must know at least what the
Yes,
houses
definitely.
are.
I've heard the names, but I don't know what any of them mean.
What's the
How we
American,
feel
what's
when
the
we talk
American
about
one
Odyssey.
called?
I've heard the books and I still don't understand what each house is.
No, I don't. Charlie.
Isn't Hufflepuff a fucking...
Ace is quintessential Slytherin.
Yep.
Except Slytherin is evil. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah, all
That's
I
you,
know is
Andrew.
Gryffindor is the brave ones.
No,
Slytherin's
Gryffindor are
stupid.
idiots.
No, we're the brave ones.
Oh,
Brave and
No.
stupid.
I'm just saying, like,
Brave and stupid,
with the
yeah,
way
but
it makes
brave.
the films make it look like, or the books make it look like. It's like Gryffindor's the brave because Harry Potter's in it. Then you've got Slytherin because you're nasty, and that's where Voldemort was, or some bollocks. Hufflepuff are the pansies, and
Oh
Raven.
my god!
No.
You cannot say that.
The thing is,
Gryffindor are the
really
brave
Harry
ones,
Potter, I
Slytherin
know
are
more
like
than
the
that.
evils or cunning ones, Ravenclaw are the smart ones, and Hufflepuff is everybody else.
I've been taught this by my girlfriend. Like, Gryffindor are brave and stupid, Slytherins are ambitious and
Evil.
evil.
No, they're not.
Hufflepuffs are supposed to be
They're
nice and good
cunning
friends.
and ambitious.
And then Ravenclaw are supposed to be smart and haughty, essentially.
They're not haughty. Excuse me.
Haughty.
See, to me,
Haughty.
Ravenclaw sounds cool. I'd rather be a Ravenclaw.
Everyone who doesn't want to
Yeah.
be a Gryffindor says they're a Ravenclaw, when they're actually a Hufflepuff.
I wish I was a Hufflepuff.
Oh god, why?
Hufflepuff's
Right.
awesome.
We're going to shift on, because it's turning into the Harry Potter podcast. Yeah, okay, great. Let's talk about the Miiverse, which exists no longer. Bye, essentially. The Nintendo's failed attempt at a social network. Good job, guys. Nice try. But not so good. I mean, they're keeping Mii's in lots of different features, like in the Switch, for example, but the Miiverse never really took off properly. People are going to get email notifications with a URL to download their post history, and it's going to take a few weeks for it all to go around to anyone. Is anyone particularly bothered by this news? I don't think so, but I suppose it's a landmark thing.
Jacob plays it.
Can we get Jacob on the podcast to give his opinion?
I'll just check if he's still awake, if you like.
Don't wake him up. It's like 10 to 10.
Yeah, the main things with the Miiverse that I think people remember is all the inappropriate posts that ended up getting through somehow, one way or the other. As an idea, it was kind of cool in that your messages showed up in various games. It's like in Mario Maker, they'd show up during the end panel of stages and things like that. Kind of a neat idea, but it was one of those. It's the typical Nintendo thing where they have a good idea, but it ends up kind of half baked in it when they actually produce it.
They start making it and then get bored halfway through and stop updating it. Like with the Wii U Virtual Console, where they released 6 games and then went, I'm bored now. Gonna go watch TV or something.
The only thing that was impressive about the Miiverse, is it Miiverse or Mii Universe?
Miiverse. Yeah.
Miiverse is on the Wii U, because it was like the stylus and you could draw. People came out with some really good pieces of artwork in the message boxes. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit! I can draw, but I've tried drawing on the Wii U tablet and it's really shit.
See, I can't draw on anything,
Don't hold
so
back,
I just
Cal.
ended up drawing cocks
Is that
and
because you're
getting my
used to
post
drawing?
rejected.
No, I'm pretty good at drawing. I just don't like drawing on tablets. Good old-fashioned me. Sketchpad and pencils.
Yeah, you can guarantee when you run around like the Splatoon lobby, you'd see some amazing things that people have drawn, and it always did boggle the mind. Actually, it's like, how did you manage to do that with 2 colours and a really rubbish stylus?
Then again, you can say the same about the artwork that came from Paint. Some people just going to, like, I made this in Paint, and you're just going, fuck off, did you that in Paint?
Well, like this, what's his name? Jim will paint it.
Oh,
He's in his stuff. He's made a whole career out of doing really detailed, surreal pictures in Microsoft Paint. I suppose like some of the demo creators on the older computers, like the Amiga and the Amad and stuff, where they'll make the system come up with images you never think they should have been able to create.
It's trying to use an Etch-a-Sketch as well.
Right, we're going to have to move. We've got 10 minutes left to cover quite a bit of news. We'll kick off that Telltale Games has had a restructure. 90 people have lost their jobs, around a quarter of the company's workforce. The reasoning was to make the company more competitive as a developer and publisher of groundbreaking story-driven gaming experiences with an emphasis on high quality in the years ahead. That's the company's statement. Essentially, the people, it looks like they basically got too big for their boots. They had 400 people, according to GamesIndustry.biz, they had 400 people working there before the cuts, and obviously they took on a massive amount of licensed projects, so maybe they're just sort of thinking that it's a case of too many cooks at this point.
From what I heard, the people who've lost their jobs, they had a choice of 5 different redundancy packages, but no matter which one they picked, the outcome was the same, so it didn't really matter.
That's like saying, like, would you take the money or do you want the mystery box?
Oh, mystery box.
Yeah,
there could be anything in there. And there could be money in there.
Yeah, it could be money.
I'll give you a mystery box for £100.
Do you want to gamble it all away for the mystery box?
We'll just skip over that blatant innuendo from MZ there.
Oh, sorry.
It wasn't intended to be an innuendo.
It sounded like a sex thing.
They never are. So yeah, sorry about that, Telltale. I'm sure you'll continue to make okay games.
So we won't be getting a new engine from them anytime soon.
No. Next up, we've got 2 teasing. Well, one's an outright statement, the other's a teaser. Obsidian sent out a tweet yesterday at 4 in the morning, essentially listing the games they'd helped create. So Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, Neverwinter Nights, Off Protocol, New Vegas, South Park, Pillars of Eternity, Humble Warfare, blah blah blah. Then they left at the bottom 3 little question marks. Which led to people foaming at the mouth, as per usual, and speculating about what they could mean. Are we going to get a Knights of the Old Republic 3? Are we going to get a new Vegas 2?
No.
Are we going to get a...
Whenever I see this, it's just going to be built up to disappointment.
Could it not just mean that they're working on a game?
Maybe
Question mark.
But people want to try and guess what that game is.
Game developers working on a game, you say?
People
So
are trying to
they
guess
missed the
what
line
they've
from the
been
bottom of
working on before this tweet came out.
So it's actually question mark, and then underneath they're missing the bit where it says profit.
No, it's a weird tweet because it's basically just saying we're working on something. It's like because people are there trying to work out if there's some sort of order to it. So, is it a hint as to what's coming next? It's like no, they're just saying they're working on something, which you could have guessed anyway.
Yeah, well, from a cryptic tweet to an outright statement, IO Interactive posted, or the CEO of IO Interactive posted a blog 2 days ago, basically rounding up what they've been doing following the launch day of Hitman, the Game of the Year edition. Essentially saying right at the bottom, left it right at the bottom of the blog, said one last thing about the next Hitman game. They're making great progress and have exciting new features and some franchise firsts, which they can't wait to tell everyone about. But they don't plan to start talking about it until 2018. So there is another Hitman game in the works for any Hitman fans out there.
So when they got split off from Square Enix, I assume they actually kept the IP then, maybe, for that?
Yes, they did, yeah, they did. This is why they're doing the Game of the Year edition, so that they can sell it under their own pretense without any connection to Square. The interesting thing about this is the statement makes it, because before this, the assumption kind of was when they carried on doing Season 1 content and they said they would have more to share, people assumed it was a Season 2. That they would carry on and just still use this engine, but this kind of makes it sound like it's going to be an entirely new thing altogether.
Maybe they didn't really want to do the episodic thing, but that was more kind of Square Enix insisted on it.
Yeah.
I do like that they've updated the Steam page so that the publisher is down as IO Interactive instead of Square Enix.
Yeah, good on them. I'm pleased they survived the split intact and they can now go about the business without any interference because they're great.
Yeah, I'm glad for that as well because despite the issues that they've had with Square Enix, the new Hitman is actually really good. Hopefully they'll become independent like Ninja Theory did and essentially just create independently their own game, sell it at a good price, and like Ninja Theory did with Hellblade.
Yeah, exactly. I hope that's the tack they take, so they don't need to rely on anyone else.
Good news for IO Interactive and Hitman then. Talking about, oh god, because we can't seem to get away from microtransactions, the CEO of Take-Two, Strauss Zelnick, said in an investor call transcribed by Gamasutra that the company aims to have recurrent consumer spending opportunities for every title they put out. For recurrent consumer spending opportunities, read microtransactions. Good reason for that. 42% of its earnings in the last quarter came from microtransactions, and I'm also going to bring in Ubisoft here, where more than half of its revenue in the last quarter also came from microtransactions. Zelnick sort of creeps his way around it by saying that the business used to be a chunky opportunity to engage for tens of hours or perhaps 100 hours, and that's now turned into an ongoing engagement day after day, week after week. You fall in love with these titles and they become a part of your daily life. One thing we've learned is if you create a robust opportunity in a robust world, people will keep coming back, they will engage, and there's an opportunity to monetize that engagement. So, we've talked about this on end, but is this a signal that, like, we're the problem? Or not we're the problem, but there's a lot of people who are the problem in proliferating this.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it is the fault of people spunking huge amounts of money on it. But there's the whole seek for the whales, don't they? The people who spend shitloads on it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's kind of, I do wonder, in terms of, yes, it's a lot of money, but is it a lot of money split up from large numbers of people buying the like microtransactions in small quantities, or is it 95% of the player base don't, but 5% are spending shitloads, and those are the ones that they're worried about? But either way, I just want to say, fuck the CEO of Take-Two, fuck Ubisoft, and fuck all those idiots who keep buying fucking microtransactions, so I can't just buy a fucking game and play the fucking game anymore.
Jesus Christ.
Well, there's got a point. It's said. I mean, Take-Two are just like up their own asses so far up because of Grand Theft Auto 5. It just rakes in so much money for them. Just like, this is why we're going to have like online modes for every future GTA, or like it's going to happen with Red Dead Redemption 2. They're just going to milk the shit out of it.
It's
and
the only
Ubisoft
industry.
are just
Video gaming is the only industry that seems to be able to get away like that. If you went into Tesco and you bought some bread, and then you got home and you got halfway through the loaf and they went, oh, if you want some more bread, you'll have to pay us another 25 pence. You stop buying bread from Tesco, but Ubisoft do it and Take-Two do it, and everyone goes, well, I'll just buy it.
To me, if it was going to happen to a supermarket, I'd imagine if I was buying a loaf of bread and I take it to the counter, I'd imagine the clerk just sort of taking the bread out with a bag, eating the crusts, and then saying, and then like, an extra 50p.
But it's not exactly that kind of microtransaction. Well, I mean, it is, but like, for example, in Ghost Recon Wildlands, the microtransaction things that they do is like 1,000 different cosmetic packs that give you like extra weapons and clothing and stuff like that. So basically, what they are calling microtransaction now are basically the DLC we had like 2 years ago. Like the first Tomb Raider reboot, they did that. Like you had like DLCs that cost £2 each, and just gave her like a new bow and a new cloth. But before that was a Steam DLC. Now they found a way to add that into the game, so you buy it within the game store, and therefore you don't give Valve any cut. So it's the exact same thing that ever was. The only difference is they're making more content like that.
Yeah, but I didn't like it in the first place when it was called DLC. So I've just basically shifted what I'm whinging about nowadays.
No, I agree.
We just miss old school expansion packs. That's what it is. We're just old foodie, that is.
Yeah,
I mean,
I just miss being able to buy a thing and owning the thing. You know, how things should work.
I mean, even then, if you look at the new Battlefront, it's like they're saying, yes, you buy the thing and you own the thing and you get everything in it, but if you want everything, it's going to take you a fucking long time unless you buy some loot boxes.
Yeah, it's putting me off playing the new Battlefront.
That's the slimy thing with like boosters. it's like, oh, no, you can still get all the same things. It's just if you want to get them in a reasonable time frame, you're going to have to buy all these XP boosters and things like that. And that's the grimy bit. I mean, to me, cosmetics are neither here nor there. I mean, I don't really care about that stuff. If people do, then that's good. But no, for me, it's the things where it actually affects gameplay, even if it's in a kind of hidden way.
That's the line for me. I'm happy to say, if they want to make extra money by selling cosmetic stuff, like Blizzard do it brilliantly. They'll sell things like pets and different cosmetic mounts and stuff, but nothing that will ever give you an edge over other players. But as soon as you start saying, well, if you get this, you can get that gear, then suddenly you're basically saying that, well, if you want to be competitive, you're going to have to get this. And let's be honest, if it's an online title and you're constantly not competitive because everyone's got better stuff than you, you're just not going to enjoy the game, and it's going to stop being fun. And I think that's the problem, is that people have forgotten, or not everyone obviously, but a lot of games companies have forgotten that what they're making is supposed to be entertainment, not a way of squeezing every last penny out of the person who's got the credit card. And the bubble's going to burst eventually. Like, look how much praise the single-player campaigns of Doom and Wolfenstein have been getting. Like, people want good single-player games where they don't have to keep getting their bloody credit card out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at saying about with Blizzard and Activision, you got Blizzard who are actually surprisingly doing a really great job of how they're handling the loot crate systems with cosmetics and purchases. They're all cosmetic, as you said. Activision, on the other hand, are doing a diabolical route of patenting these ideas of that. You're joining a random lobby with a player who's much higher skilled than you, has this awesome fucking gun, and he's like, hey, that guy's pretty cool. We've partnered you up with him. Look how awesome he is. Do you want to buy his weapon? And they're trying to push that into games where it was supposed to be skill. You're supposed to be matchmade.
Yeah.
People are saying that it's the transition from. I know we can talk about this route, but people are saying it's a transition from a singular price point to a more gaming as a service model, the same way software is delivered. And you can get things like, your Adobe Cloud and your Microsoft Office 365. Perhaps that's the way gaming is going to go, where they're trying to monetize people over long periods of time. I mean, technically, if you want to be, a bit, not really that technical, but Blizzard did it with World of Warcraft. Did them quite well.
But that's different, because then you're paying for ever-evolving content rather than... and I mean, the business example, also the software example sort of works in theory, but it's worth considering that how many people personally subscribe to Adobe Cloud or Office 365 compared to how many businesses subscribe their staff to it. I'd imagine about 95% of the users are subscribed by a business that's paying for it. So it's different to an individual.
We are seeing things with like EA's system of paying every month to get access to certain games for free. Maybe we'll see more of that in the future. I'm going to shift us on to a bit of happier news to finish off, because we have passed the hour mark. Which is that SAG-AFTRA, the voice actors, what should I say, guild union.
Guild.
Guild. They've overwhelmingly approved the successor to the interactive media video game agreement, by a vote of 90% to 10%. Essentially, strike is over.
Finally.
They have a number of concessions that they've managed to achieve. Some they didn't get. Under the new agreement, there's a new bonus structure that gives them additional payments to performers based on the number of sessions they work. They're due no later than the release date of the game. They start at $75 for the first session and can total up to $2,100 after 10 sessions worked. There's also new transparency provisions that will enable members of the union to bargain better, because the companies will have to disclose the code name of the product, its genre, whether it's based on a previously published IP, and whether the performer is reprising a prior role. Members will also have to be told whether they're required to use unusual terminology, profanity, or racial slurs, whether there'll be content of a sexual or violent nature, and whether stunts will be required. On top of that, so that's all good, but the stuff they didn't get included provisions about fining performers for being late or distracted at sessions. Another one about requiring agents to submit performers for low-paying atmospheric voice sessions or face fines or the loss of their franchise. And another that would have allowed employers to use their permanent staff to do covered work outside of the bargaining agreement. Of 7,200 members voted. Informal voting cards were mailed to 7,200 affected members, of which 10% voted. Well done, guys. The final vote was certified by Integrity Voting Systems, an impartial election service based in Washington. The agreement comes into effect on 8th of November, so it's already in effect, and expires on the 7th of November 2020. So, huzzah, finally.
Well done. I'm glad they came to an agreement.
Yeah, it's good. I think that the thing that opened my eyes the most about it was the whole thing with stunts and not having safety in place and not even being told if you're just going to have to start doing a whole bunch of motion capture stunts. I think that's anything that puts another human being in harm needs to be immediately stopped. And it's a shame it's taken so long and it's taken all this industrial action, but it's crazy. Nice to see that it's been sorted out. I'm not sure about the thing about fining people for being late for work. I mean, surely if you're late for work, you should expect to get your pay docked. Is that not just a standard thing in any industry?
I'm sorry, but
with an opera in the background.
Noise is horrendous.
Are you listening to Ness and Dormer?
I have absolutely no idea. I've got headphones on and I can't hear it, but there's the TV on in the background.
Yeah, we can hear some kind of operatic stuff.
Sounds like Neddy Seaver trying to sing.
A very climactic end to the podcast. Because it is, in fact, the end of the podcast.
I'm reliably informed it is, in fact, Ness and Dormer, so well done. Somebody knows their opera.
Well, one of the most famous operatic songs ever performed. But there you go. That is the end of the podcast and the end of the streamcast. Thank you to everyone listening and or watching. I've been your host, Hamiltonius. This has been the GrinCast, and joining me tonight were Ace, Cal, Cello, Dominoid, MZ, and Puce. Now then, if you want to get in touch with us, you can leave a comment below where the podcast is hosted on the Game Grin website, or get in touch with us on Twitter at GrinCast. We're also hosted on iTunes and Stitcher. Just search for the Game Grin GrinCast. If you want to get in touch with Game Grin itself, it can be found on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just search Game Grin and you'll see the lovely smiling face. And also remember to check out the Moving Pictures YouTube channel that is run by Game Grin and Game On. And remember to check out Game On, which does lots of great mags about the industry in general and specific video games. That is about everything. We'll be back next week. But until then, Game On. And game on to everyone who is watching.
I still love the fact we do a pause, and game on.
Boo!
It's just become
the catchphrase was stuck.
The thing.
It is.
It?
It has, isn't it?
I've adopted doing it in the news posts as well, and I do a little finger gun as well. And I've started. I don't know if anybody's noticed over the last few weeks. What I've started doing is moving the iris transitions so that it closes in on my finger at the end, just to be extra cheesy.
One of the catchphrases that didn't kick off. I was listening to older episodes this week. There was one from Cal, which was "It's time to get your grin on."
Wow.
Or your grin going. I can't remember which one it was.
Wow.
Good old times.
You've got to try a few things before you come up with
We need to make
diamond.
catchphrases. We just need to make loads of random catchphrases.
Yeah. We don't have, not many of us are catchphrase machines, to be honest. We lost Vod, who
Whoa,
had all of his
whoa, whoa.
catchphrases.
Come on, guys.
Just don't quote Rick and Morty when it comes to catchphrases. Because that's the way the news goes.
Right, I'm going to disappear and edit and then go to bed because I'm tired.
Ah, bless.
That's my life story. Good night, everyone.
Cool story, boy.
No, then.
I'm going to also disappear. I shall see you all soon. Thank you for another lovely podcast.
Yeah, lovely evening, guys.
Bye, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.